Hey, it's Galfi and Galfette. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the metronome and the signature track. I've decided to deal with these two subjects at the same time, because you'll see that they're quite complementary. We'll be right back after this. So, you already know the metronome, I imagine. It can be mechanical or electronic, and you've probably already used one. Cubase obviously offers this function. First of all, the metronome controls are at the bottom right of your screen, in the transport menu. If you don't see the transport menu, click here, on this button, to display it. If you don't see this menu, right-click and check Windows Zone Controls. If, once the transport menu is displayed, you still don't have the metronome controls, simply right-click and check Click and Count In and click Pattern. Click on the metronome button to activate or deactivate it. You can also use the C key as a key command. If you click on the little E here, you'll have access to the metronome setup. In general, you can activate the click. You can also choose to use MIDI or audio and an output. Here you have the click options. In Count In, you can choose the number of bars to be counted before recording begins. You can also choose to use your own time signature. In Click Sounds, you can choose, for each click, its velocity, i.e. the intensity of the note. You can change the velocity just by clicking on the number. A fader appears, which you can drag and drop. You can then choose to use the default click, which is the Steinberg one, or custom sounds or presets, which you can test using the two stop and start buttons. You can also right-click at the top of this window to make one or more of the three tabs visible or invisible. Finally, you have patterns. You have default patterns here. Click on a pattern to modify it. The first beat is in red, it's the strongest. The following beats have a lower intensity. You can mute them just by clicking on the line below. You can also change their velocity by clicking on the lines above. So you have a total of 5 possible velocities, from muted to very loud. For the signature track, most of today's music is based on the classic 4x4 beats rhythm, but it can still be useful for adding rhythmic variations to a project. To add a signature track, it's just like any other track. Either click on the little plus button that gives you access to the track list, and if you don't see it, you can use the More Tracks button. Or, much more simply, right-click and select Signature Track. If you add a signature track to an existing project, you'll see by default the rhythm used, i.e. 4 out of 4 on this project. To add a new signature, select the pencil and click where you want to add your signature. You can edit the signature marker in 2 ways. By double-clicking on the number, you can change it, or by double-clicking on the marker, but away from the digits, you'll see a window with the pattern, which you can then modify. Note that adding a different signature immediately modifies the grid. If you zoom in a little on the left-hand side of the tracks, you'll notice that there's a little button that lets you do a number of things, including audio rendering or MIDI rendering of the click between the two locators. If you have any questions or suggestions, don't hesitate to let me know and comment. Have a good weekend and see you soon.